I'm excited about this video. It's been a while since I've done a full build on the channel, and this is a full AMD build. So for me, this is super exciting on that fact. That's something I haven't done in a really long time. So when our friends at ASUS reached out and said, hey, do you want to partner with us to check out the new TUF Gaming RX9060XT? I was like, yeah. So I'll be showing that card, and that's the main bulk of what you're going to be seeing here. And we'll be showing you a lot of performance, gameplay, all that stuff. So stay, get ready. But before we start, let's check out the build. So one of the most important things in the build is your power supply, and I had to go with something that I felt would handle what I was trying to do, but also is a bit future-proof. So I decided to go with the TUF Gaming 850 watt 80 plus gold PSU. This is a nice looking PSU. I love the lettering around it. The black and white composition really works, even though you can't see it in the build, but it also is an ATX 3.1 compatible PSU, so that's also great. Now the motherboard is the heart of everything. It's where your CPU goes, the GPU goes, your RAM, NVMe, all that stuff goes in there. And you really want something that really can handle what you're trying to do and also is future-proof as well. In my case, that's the TUF Gaming B850 plus Wi-Fi. It's a Wi-Fi 7 board, which is great. I've got Wi-Fi 7 at home and the office, Bluetooth as well. DTS, it's also got built-in HDMI, but of course we have our GPU for that. AuraSync, which will match with all of the AuraSync devices, but it's a tough board. So it's a really solid and sturdily built board. And I love the just black-white aesthetics across the board itself. Now this board supports up to 192 gigabytes of RAM. I'm going with 32 from Kingston Fury here though, so this at least should do everything I need to. Now, NVMe is very interesting because this supports PCIe 5.0 for NVMe and the GPU. And I went with two NVMe's here in this build. One is this Kingston, 1 terabyte PCIe Gen 4, 7,700 megabits per second. Great for my Windows drive. My gaming drive is a 2 terabyte Samsung 9100 Pro NVMe. This bad boy goes up to 14,800 megabits per second. That's crazy. So my games have to run on the fastest drive, and that made the most amount of sense. And putting it all on this motherboard is just nice and clean. Now the big boys. My CPU is the AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Everyone has raved about this. I checked out a ton of videos and I went with this CPU because I wanted something to give me a lot of game performance to tie in with my card and not crazy on price. Now, I like this CPU for that kind of performance it brings, and I'm cooling it off with the ROG Strix LC III 360. Now this is a 360 RGB NVMe. I love the fact that this is also pretty simple and clean. Like once you see my case, you realize I didn't want anything too fancy that had a screen that showed my temperature numbers. This just has the ASUS logo. Speaking of the case, yes, it's a Fractal design North mid case in charcoal black. It's got that wood grain in front, real wood, looks absolutely fantastic. The details around this case is nice and simple, especially with the price point. Great. I love the quick, easy access to the top, and those little things make it this simple for me to use this case. Now that brings me to my big boy here, the GPU. And the GPU I'm using in this build is the TUF Gaming AMD Radeon RX9060XT OC edition. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's, of course, this is an AMD RDNA 4 architecture card that supports things like AMD Hyper RX as well as AMD Fidelity FX, super resolution. It's got 2 display ports with display 2.1A and 1 HDMI port as well. And it's a TUF gaming card, which means you use military grade materials to build it. And it's got some really nice accent colors across the board. You know, it's that, you know, gray with little white accents across, which is nice. You've got the axial fan tech to help cool the card, especially when you're going through heavy gaming performance sessions. And speaking of that, you've got dual BIOS on the card to toggle between quiet and performance. It does come in set at performance there. It's something you can manually do. And again, it's really nice. Honestly, I really like this build. I like the way it looks. I like the finish. I'm pleased with it. But you guys don't care about that. You're like, Thunder E, it's time for performance. We want to see what this thing can actually do. So we went ahead and installed the games we like to play. A ton of games, including Street Fighter. And granted, no, Street Fighter is not part of the benchmarks. I just love playing Street Fighter and it runs really well. That's not an issue. But the games we played that we benchmarked are Warzone 2.0, Cyberpunk, Doom the Dark Ages, Forza Horizon 5, and Marvel Rivals. So these are the games we went ahead and played on the system. And we are playing at 1440p. My monitor here has a 480 Hz refresh rate and it's a 1440p monitor. So I want to give you that background as we look at some of the performance we're getting. So let's start off with Warzone, right? Warzone 2.0 is great. Honestly, the casual Warzone setting is pretty cool. The bots are getting better there. But I jumped in, played a gameplay session. You can see, first of all, the performance settings I went through. I maxed everything out. And that's what you're going to notice across the board. Every single game will be at maxed out settings for the game. And at Warzone, I was doing an average of roughly around 230 frames per second. It was smooth. There were no hiccups. It was like butter. And that was really just great to see. For a game that has online components, that was just really nice to see. And solid performance all across. I mean, you can't go wrong with 230 frames per second, right? Then we move over to Cyberpunk 2077. This is a game that has tasked a lot of graphics cards in the past. And in here, with all the settings you see maxed out with, of course, FRS 3.0, we're getting an average of about 237 frames per second, especially in the heat of battle when I'm actually being chased by the police in the game. It plays really well. I mean, the performance is just solid. 237 frames at 1440p. Whew, that is great. Now, the next game is Doom the Dark Ages. You know I love Doom. I always showcase Doom Eternal, and right now I'm playing Doom the Dark Ages. I'm walking my way through. I promise I will finish this game, guys, at some point, but I will. And Doom the Dark Ages, max settings across the board, and you can see it right there. We're getting 150 frames per second on average. It peaks up high to like 190, but I average about 150, which is also very, very good. This game performs very well on this card. Impressive. Now, Forza Horizon 5. This is an older game, but its game is also really good in terms of just performance settings. Settings on screen, you can see that. We're doing an average while gaming here is like 190 frames per second. And then if that within like set races, when you're just driving freely across the map, it's about 200, but within races, it's about 190 frames. Solid, no hiccups. This is the kind of thing that I like. The performance here is just really good. And then finally, of course, Marvel Rivals, a game that everybody loves, been playing. I decided to play as T'Challa, Black Panther. This is the first time I actually used the character. Liking the boost sets on there. And on here, an average of 215 frames per second at 1440p. Oh, mind you, my monitor size is 27 inches, just to give you an FYI there. So, I mean, the performance is great. Every single game we played, you're getting some really stellar performance across the board. I think AMD has done a really good job with ASUS on this card to really drive in the fact that you can get some really great performances at 1440p. If you're only playing at 1080p, you're gonna get better. And this card also supports 4K performance as well, so that's something to take note. But for me, I wanted to see how it handled in that bracket and price point where this card is. They wonder what the price the card is. The card is priced at $479, and I really like I said, I like the performance I've gotten from it. I think a lot of people will get something similar or even better depending on the case scenario you're going through. I know for some of you guys, I didn't play the games that you play, but I hope this gave you an idea of what this card does and also how it handles on my build. I'm really excited about this build. I love the way it actually came out. So if you guys have any questions or any comments, let me know. Otherwise, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and always enjoy your entertainment.